Hi, welcome to the gym. Today we're going to talk about part 2 of emotional eating. Again, these series on emotional eating is very, very important to understand because it really helps you nail what's going on with you. We all have these issues. We all share those in common as humans. So please don't worry about it. Just learn about it, figure out what you're going to do, and then do it. So today we're going to do part 2. We're going to talk about the eating cycle. We're also going to talk about body scans, and we're going to talk about some things you can do instead, because it's all about finding things you can do instead of using food. So this is the binge eating cycle, and I mentioned on an earlier training that bariatric populations tend to be binge eaters. That's just what we do. So this is the binge eating cycle, and it starts here with an emotional trigger, and it could be anything. Well, it could be a memory. It could be riding in the car and remembering something that happened in that spot in the road. It could be a dream you had. It could be something that someone says to you that creates an emotion. So you get the trigger, and that trigger can cause those feelings that we talked about last time, and we're going to review those again. But that trigger triggers something, and so then we eat to help calm ourselves down, help deal with that trigger, and then we feel an emotional reaction to the fact that we ate. And so we try to be good, and in doing so, we don't meet our needs because we don't go in and say, oh wow, that trigger hurt me, or that trigger scared me. And so we don't acknowledge that. So unacknowledged needs are unmet needs. And so because of that, then we have unmet needs, which again trigger us, and we just go round and round and round this circle. And in doing so, we continue to eat to nurture ourselves, to calm ourselves down, and it becomes kind of an addictive behavior. The key to controlling emotional eating is to intervene either at the trigger right here or when we start to binge eat, and that's what we're going to start doing today. So reviewing those emotions that we talked about last week that get triggered: boredom, loneliness, anxiety or anger, hungry, and that's a good time to eat. That's the time we can eat now. Or hormones: sad or stressed, tired, excited, or depressed. So those are the quick overview of the big emotions that get triggered. There's certainly little flavors of these emotions, but these are the ones that they feed into. So what we want to do at that point, when we realize we're triggered and we want to binge eat, we want to just stop. And we want to do something called a body scan. And we're going to practice it right here. I'm going to create a self-standing training that is just a body scan. You can just turn it on. I'll walk you through the body scan, and you can just take longer, but I'm just going to talk you through it right now. And a body scan is where you start at the top of your head and you go all the way down to the bottoms of your feet, and you scan your body just like if you had a machine in your brain, and you're looking for sensations. They can be emotional sensations, they can be physical sensations, because we eat when we have a physical sensation too, and we have pain, we try to feed it. When our body feels a certain way physically, sometimes we use food to try to deal with that physical sensation. So body scan, top of your head to bottoms of your feet, and just notice what you're feeling and where in your body you're having those feelings. And there'll probably be more than one place if there is. Notice where you feel it the most, where it's the most strong, and start with that place. If the feeling is hunger, then feed it. Feed it mindfully. Notice how hungry or full you feel. Don't overfill, but notice that hunger or fullness level. And then if it's not hunger, notice what thought is going with that feeling, because usually we have a thought and then we have a feeling as a reaction to it. So see if you compare the thoughts together, and then ask yourself, is that thought true or is it untrue? And what can I do besides eat that feeling away or that thought away? So for example, a true story that happened the other day, I had a client who came in and said, my daughter-in-law hates me. And as soon as I figured that out, I've been eating everything that's not nailed down. And I said, well, where in your body do you feel that? And she felt it in her gut. And I said, well, what is the thought that triggered the feeling? And she said, well, she looked at me with disgust. And I said, okay, so what else was going on? Could there be an alternate explanation? And she thought about it for just a minute. And she said, well, that was the time that her child came in holding this awful thing that the child had found outside, and he was holding it saying, "Mommy, look at this thing." And she looked at me with disgust. But now that I think about it, I think she was probably smelling whatever that thing was, because it really did smell awful. We never figured out what it was, but it really smelled bad. And she said, when I think about it, when I stop and think about it, I realized that she wasn't disgusted with me. She was disgusted by the smell of that thing that her son brought in. And when she looked at it that way, she said, she wasn't disgusted with me. I haven't needed to eat. And I said, exactly. We're so used to being wrong or having that lack of confidence. We're so used to having people be upset with us or thinking they're upset with us that we automatically blame ourselves, even when it really isn't us at all. So do that body scan. Try to figure out what truth is, and if you don't know what truth is, at least figure out another explanation for what you're thinking. And that's just probably as true as the other one. So there's a difference between emotional hunger and physical hunger. Physical, you always want to feed. Emotional, you want to stay away from feeding if you can. You want to go back to some of your other tools that you're learning. So really quickly, physical hunger usually comes on gradually. The exception to this is if you've busied yourself a lot that day and all of a sudden you've got some downtime and you realize, oh my goodness, I am starving. It's not because it didn't come on gradually, it's because you weren't aware of it, because you were busy. So we want to always be aware of what we're feeling. That's what the body scan's about. Usually physical hunger can wait. It's got a little bit of patience built into it. Can't wait forever, but usually you're not going to frantically need to eat something right then. You can eat a variety of foods. You got a lot of options to choose from if it's physical hunger, and you can stop when you're full, and you want to eat slowly. Again, use that other hand. If you eat fast, use the other hand, and then stop when you're full. And physical hunger lets you do that. And then you feel good about the decisions you're making. You feel satisfied and you feel confident in those decisions. Emotional hunger comes on pretty quickly because it's usually from a trigger. It needs immediate satisfaction, and not only that, it wants specific foods. How many times have you gone in the kitchen and opened the fridge or opened the cupboard and there's a ton of food in there and nothing looks good to you, but you are starving? And that's a really good example of emotional hunger. You can feel physically full, but you still want to eat. You still want to just shovel it in. And that's, again, a sign that it's emotional hunger rather than physical hunger. And then you feel guilty or shame or helpless or hopeless when you're done. Sign of emotional rather than physical hunger. So things to do instead of eating, and this is a great list. This is something to take a copy of, print it out, put it up wherever you can see it, put it in your journal. Physical, you can do something that's moving. And it can be the usual stuff, but I like some of these, like dancing, cleaning, gardening, and drinking something warm seems to be nurturing, and it really does help kind of calm things down. Mental ideas include distractions like Sudoku, crossword puzzles, journaling, Lumosity, which is really good for your brain, studying interesting, challenging material, memorization, recall, so you're filling your head very actively with other options that really take focus and concentration. So you can exercise it away, or you can exercise your mind away. Another protocol that I love that is great for cravings and for getting emotional things out is emotional freedom technique. And I do it a little bit different. This is the way that I do it. So what I'm going to do, just like I'm going to create a separate body scan, I'm going to also create a separate EFT protocol for you, so that if you want just that piece of this whole thing, you can have that piece. But I'm going to teach you what this is right now and show you how to do it. It's based on the idea that we have acupuncture points in our body that need to be relaxed or released, and when they are, then whatever emotion is stuck in them, it goes away. And when I first heard it, I thought, yeah, really, I'm so sure. But I've used it enough for so many years that I know that it really works. And with the fMRI imaging, now they're actually showing that there's measurable results that we can see on machines now. So it does work, and it shows on machines that it does. So what I want you to think about for just a minute, we're going to practice this together, is think about a time when you were craving, or when you were feeling emotionally out of control, or you were feeling any of those blasted emotions, and just go back to a time when you're feeling that, or you might even be feeling it right now. And so just feel it. Take a minute to scan your body. Notice where in your body you're feeling it. And when you have that feeling, and if I'm going too fast for you, just press pause. When you have that feeling and you know where it is located in your body, you need the physical address of it, then give it a number on a 1 to 10 scale, with 1 being not at all, 10 being it's really strong. I don't like it, it's very uncomfortable. So just give it a number between 1 and 10 and notice what number it is. All right, now we're going to start tapping on your karate chop point, and you're going to say 3 times out loud, I love and accept myself even though I have this feeling. So say it with me 3 times. I love and accept myself even though I have this feeling or this craving, whatever you want to say. I love and accept myself even though I have this feeling. I love and accept myself even though I have this feeling. And now we're going to start right here. If your eyes were going to grow together, you'll see it's number 2 on this chart here. You can go like this if you want to. You can just say out loud, I have this feeling. And then move to the sides of your eyes. I have this feeling. And under your eyes, I have this feeling. Under your nose, this feeling. Under your lower lip, this feeling. And then down where those collarbone points are, this feeling. And then under your arm, the easiest way to find that is to put your thumb in your armpit and just move down about an inch or 2, and you'll find a sore spot. It's going to always be sore. So find that spot, tap on it, say this feeling, have this feeling. Top of your head, I have this feeling. And then feel the feeling wherever it is in your body, and we're going to do this again. Start here, and then out loud, say whatever comes to your mind. And breathe. Notice the feeling. Move to the sides of your eyes. Do the same thing. Whatever comes to mind, say it out loud. Notice how you feel. Under your eyes, say it out loud. Under your nose, whatever you feel, say it out loud. Under your lower lip, on your chin, whatever you're feeling, say it out loud. Under your collarbone, whatever you're feeling. Under your arms, whatever you're feeling, say it out loud. Whatever comes to your mind. It doesn't even have to be a feeling, it can just be a thought. Top of your head, same thing. Whatever comes to mind. Just take a minute and stop. See how you're feeling in that spot that you were feeling. Whatever number you're at, notice that number. The number usually comes down by now, but sometimes it goes up as you start feeling it. It actually gets bigger. If that happens, go back through, start here again, and just do another round of tapping. And every time you get up here, check and see what number you're at. And that number, you want to get it down between a 1 and a 3. And you want to make sure you breathe, and you want to make sure that you say what it is you're thinking or feeling, whatever comes to your mind. So practice this. Get to the place where you don't need the chart, to where you know what those points are, and you can just have them memorized. And then the cool part is, the more you do this, the more you practice at it, the more your body gets used to feeling it. And so if you're at a place where you can't do it because you look too weird to do it in front of people, you can think through the points, and it will help relieve the feeling or the craving. So practice this. This is a really powerful protocol to use when you're having a craving or when you're having a feeling that you want to feed. So practice. And for your reflection workout, do a body scan daily this week before you eat. Notice what it is you're feeding. Are you feeding the hunger? Are you feeding an emotion? Do EFT if you're not hungry and you've got an emotion or a craving that you're wanting to feed. Do EFT instead and just practice it. And then in your journal, write down the times you were aware that you wanted to eat when you weren't physically hungry, and notice what might have been the reasons or the emotions that made you turn to food instead. Track what you did instead of using food in those situations. And if you did use food, then write what you could do next time. Remember, there's no such thing as failure, it's only feedback. So we just learn, we tweak it, and we do it again, and we do it better the next time. So have a great week. Practice this. Have fun with EFT. Have fun with body scans. And you'll be able to find those freestanding ones very soon if they're not already in your materials. Until then, we'll see you next time.